Okay. Hello everyone, this is Toby Morrison from Melbourne, Australia. I'm the founder of CFS Health online recovery program, which I'm proudly a part of. And on the other end is a beautiful girl named Amy. Welcome, Amy.
Hello, thank you.
Amy's from Perth, and I think you signed up to the program about 6 months ago, maybe?
Yeah, about 6 months ago.
And before you started the program, you were suffering from chronic fatigue syndrome for how long?
It probably would have been about a year and a half, I think.
And I mean, how bad was it for you when you were at your worst?
When it was at the worst, I was sleeping 16 hours a day. I think the only reason I wasn't sleeping more than that was because it was my last semester of uni. So I was going to uni and doing assignments and completely stressed out whenever I was awake. The worst symptom for me was the brain fog.
Yep.
I just felt like I had cotton wool in my head all the time. It was really frustrating. That was the worst, but I also had the muscle aches and pains through my whole body.
And just for everyone at home listening, what were you studying?
I was studying naturopathy, which, so it's quite ironic that studying health could make you so sick, but it was just such an intense course, and definitely the last year, I certainly wasn't the only one having a bit of a breakdown. It just is a lot of work. And, for me, like, definitely looking back, it was all stress was the cause of everything for me.
Did you have any like glandular fever or post-viral syndrome before that?
Yeah, so I got glandular fever in July, so just before my final semester of uni. So that's really when I completely crashed. But actually when that was diagnosed, I found out that I'd had it before. So the antibodies showed that I'd previously had it. And I think the time I'd had it before was probably a couple of years previously, because I'd had a bit of a breakdown at that point as well.
I don't call them that. You know what I say to people about breakdowns. Everyone, oh Toby, I've had a breakdown. A breakdown's a breakthrough, and this is why we're doing this interview today, because you've gone on, to one, improve your health, but two, you're giving back by, ironically going through something so hard, but now you're going to pass on your knowledge and expertise in your field and help other people through naturopathy. So I think, I'm really keen to ask you a few questions about that. Now, before you started the program, what had you tried previously? Because there's so many people at home who they feel like they've tried everything and they get nowhere,
Yeah, so, I was very lucky that I had a great support network around me of naturopaths. So I at least had people around me who were validating that there was something wrong and that they understood that I really was sick, which I think is a huge thing that most people struggle with at first. And so I was taking herbal medicines and a lot of nutritional supplements, and I know they definitely were a huge part of my recovery, but I think there was definitely still something missing, and when I finally found your program, I knew that it was just that extra thing that I needed to actually get me properly better, because I improved my symptoms to a point, but I still felt like they weren't ever going to completely go away. And so that's pretty much the main things I tried. I already had a really good diet, and but then I found out that I was intolerant to a lot of, healthy foods that weren't doing my body any good. So it was mainly naturopathic stuff. I'd been to a couple of doctors, but I kind of gave up on that. So.
And I think, it's crazy. Like, I went through the same thing, and I've seen over 2,000 people individually with this illness now, and obviously a lot more through the online program. But it's just so hard to, one, like, know what's going on in your body, and then two, like, you're going to someone to get help and they don't even know what's wrong with you. Sometimes they don't even believe that there is anything wrong, that you just feel like you're going around in circles the whole time,
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the thing that appealed to me about your program and just your centre, is that you have that empathy, because because you've been through it and you actually understand what's going on. And it's quite refreshing because I found you on YouTube, I think, at first.
Yeah.
And just hearing, like, in your videos that you sort of talk about the symptoms people are going through and you have no question about it. It's just like, I understand this is what you're going through. Whereas I think you experience a lot of people kind of doubt that there's even anything wrong with you at all. So, yeah, that's really
totally
helpful.
true. Now, when you started the program, it's been a quick turnaround for you. Obviously, like you've done an amazing job, and you've obviously put in a lot of effort to improve to where you're at. But how long was it until you started noticing improvements through doing the program?
Sorry, just give me 1 second. I got to plug my computer in because it's going to die.
That's all right. Live on camera.
Yes.
At least you look great as well. That's the main thing, and you feel great, which is, one of the annoying things with chronic fatigue and all the chronic illness. Everyone goes, "Oh, you look so good on the outside," and on the inside you feel terrible. At least now that when people can say that, you can actually you can feel good inside you as well as outside.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, because I lost quite a bit of weight because I just lost my appetite, and a lot of people would comment to me, "Oh, you've lost weight, that's great," whatever kind of thing, or people would say it like it's a negative thing, and obviously they didn't understand, or people would say it to me like I'd been purposely losing weight, and it's people just don't understand what's going on, which is fair enough. But anyway, yes, I did start to notice changes pretty quickly with the program. I think it's really helpful how you sort of just do one part of it at a time. So, you sort of you give yourself however long you need, but it's kind of like a whole week to just master one little thing, and then you add something else. And so I found that really helpful because most of the things you talked about were things that I already knew I should be doing, but I didn't quite understand exactly how to go about it. I think for me the mindset thing was that was when my family started noticing changes as well, because I did get quite depressed and quite hopeless for a while, and that definitely made a huge change for me when I did all the mindset stuff, and the exercise was really good too.
Yeah, I think like one of the misconceptions that people have, and I mean, you're coming from a background in naturopathy, that's your expertise, is that you need to have a one focused approach, which is quite dangerous and can really be detrimental to one's health if we don't have a holistic approach. So when people come in, and just like you did, the program covers every aspect of recovery. You can't not improve if you do that. And it's whether you apply yourself. And like you said, knowing's one thing and doing's a second thing. And the reason why you're at where you're at is because you obviously did the work and you did it right. You stopped doing what wasn't working, and you started to do what does work, which is a massive part of the process. So what was it like? I mean, when you started to improve, what were the changes that you saw? Was it a physical sense of energy? Obviously, you had a mental switch as well, which would have helped you with your positivity.
Yeah, I think the mental switch was definitely when I started feeling better.
Yeah.
And I just generally felt a lot better because I knew I was being much more positive when I was around other people as well, and that's when I sort of started properly believing I was going to get better, because I always knew I was, and deep down there was never any question about me getting better, and I knew I could. But yeah, after time it kind of wears you down a bit, and I realised I had got into quite a negative state. But yeah, the exercise was a big thing for me because I used to love exercising and I used to exercise a lot, and then with the chronic fatigue I just couldn't exercise at all, and it was so frustrating. And then I knew about graded exercise therapy, but I just was starting at too high a level. So I'd got to a point where I just gave up and I just wasn't doing anything because I didn't know how to start at a low enough level that I could actually progress. So the way that you explained it made it really clear for me to figure out what I needed to do, and that was really good to be able to see my progress and to be able to actually, do a lot more exercise
without feeling worse.
Yeah, and not feeling worse. Yeah.
And that's the other thing I talk about, and there's a lot of myths around exercise, and I don't really like the term exercise anymore because people just think it's really negative and bad for you. So, and what you've learned for the program is restorative exercises or restorative movement that actually rebuild your body, your strength, your conditioning without making yourself feel worse. And then of course you're going to feel better. And it's funny that you mentioned that like the mental shift didn't happen until you started feeling better physically. And I totally relate to that because naturally we're going to feel better emotionally, mentally when our bodies are actually in a condition to do so and move forwards. So it's that combination of both, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple of other questions now. What did everyone else start noticing about you when you started to improve?
Well, I was living with my family at the time, which was really good. So I guess they were the ones that noticed things first, because actually a lot of my friends probably still don't actually understand how sick I was, because I was at the point where I could kind of act normal when I did go out. So it was really my family that noticed things. Definitely they noticed when I was being a bit happier. And I mean, they noticed that I wasn't sleeping as much. That was a huge thing. I just started naturally waking up at a normal time and, not being asleep when I would get home from work. And, I think, and they just noticed like my motivation was better, and I started thinking about more things that I wanted to do. So I think, they definitely noticed, and it was after I started the program that they really started noticing changes. Before that, I was kind of managing things, but nothing was really progressing. They definitely could tell that the program was working.
Yeah, it's amazing. Now, you mentioned to me, I think it was in an email, I can't remember, you told me, Toby, thanks so much. Literally, the program's changed my life. Like, I'm doing so much now. I'm going to ask you this question because I don't really know what your answer is going to be, but what is your best result so far? Like, what's the biggest thing you've achieved in the last 6 months that you probably felt like you couldn't? I know you've got some exciting news about you mentioned you're starting your own business.
Yeah, so I actually had started my own business before, but I was, obviously just having to really manage where I could take clients, and I just felt like that was more realistic for me at that time than actually working full time for someone else and having them control my timetable. The big thing for me is that just in the last week I've relocated. I've relaunched my business in a new place. So I was living with my family before, which was great, but I got to the point where I didn't need that comfort zone anymore. I think I needed it for a while, but I've just moved. So now I'm about an 8-hour drive from where I was before.
Wow.
Relaunched my business, so I'm in a new clinic now. That's where I am right now.
Awesome.
And just like I remember even just a few months ago, I was thinking about like I hope that in the next 6 months I can do those kind of things, but at the time it was just so overwhelming to me, just even the idea of moving house. I was just like, I can't deal with that, I can't go through that. Like it just wouldn't have been worth the effort. Whereas now I've just had a ridiculously busy week and I feel fine. Like it's so it's really.
How does that feel? Like, how does that feel? That's
it's amazing. And I know that I wouldn't be doing all this stuff now if I hadn't done the program. I think I would have still had months to go before I would be feeling better. So it's really exciting. I feel like myself again, which it's very hard to feel like yourself when your brain's not working properly and when you feel tired all the time. That's probably been the biggest milestone for me is just kind of getting on with my life.
The thing that I'm really proud of you about, and that I'm actually really excited for you, and I'm sure you're going to help a lot of people, is that now you have an understanding of what it is really like to go through something so severe, and you've come out the other end, just like I have, and lots of other people have, and that in itself is really powerful. And people like myself and you and all the other people who have recovered and getting their lives back, they are the ones who can help more people by passing their knowledge down. And yeah, I kind of get a little bit excited about that. Now, you kind of answered this question before just then, but where would you be if you didn't take that leap and faith into the program when you did? Where would you be right now if you didn't participate in it?
I think I would be about where I was 6 months ago. So I was still sleeping 12 hours at least every night, and I couldn't see my future. I think was the worst thing was I didn't know if it was going to be like another 2 years, another 10 years. So I probably would be maybe physically about the same because my physical symptoms hadn't really changed that much for a while, but I think probably mentally I would have been a lot worse. Yeah.
So with that being said, like, what kind of impact has the program had on you? I feel like you have come away a different person, almost like a more enlightened one. You said now you've got direction, you've got a dream. This is what you're going for now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely changed a lot of things for me, and I think it's not going to probably sound right to people who are suffering with chronic fatigue at the moment, but I can see now. I'm actually kind of grateful for the experience because I know that I've learned a lot from it. And yeah, just not just for helping my clients in the future, but just for knowing how to look after myself and knowing how to balance things between, instead of pushing myself like crazy all the time or totally sleeping and doing nothing all the time, like how to have a healthy life in between. Yeah, I don't know. I think I've learned a lot from it. And yeah, the program itself, I wouldn't be here at this point if it wasn't for the program, so it's huge.
What's the best thing about the program for you? Everyone's different, obviously, and there's so much in it. But for you, what was the best thing about it for you?
I think, well, like the first thing that's so important about your centre and the program that you do is that you and all of your staff have been through chronic fatigue. You understand everything about it, which, yeah, it is important because your empathy comes through a lot in the videos and in every interaction. It's like you really understand what people are going through, but it also means that your program is really well structured so that it's effective, but it's also achievable for people with chronic fatigue. And I think just the way, I don't know, you just explain things really clearly and it's very easy to apply to the individual. Like, I think, because a lot of the information you said was sort of things I'd heard before, but just the way that you explained it just made it a lot clearer and I knew how to apply it.
Yeah, more of a practical approach.
Yeah, very practical and very doable. Like, even if you're bedridden, it's something you can put into practice.
Absolutely, I totally agree. The funny thing is, how I created the program was I visualised my sick self being there, and I had to talk to myself as in, what do I need right now if I was sick to get better? And so I'd do that every time I filmed a video. So I would talk to my sick self because that's exactly what I needed when I was unwell. So it was 6 months of filming, but it was every single video or interaction I have now, I always think about that or that person who needs that guidance from where they're at. So so you've moved 8 hours away from your mum and dad. You've set up a new practice.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're exercising a lot more and feeling good.
Yeah.
Socialising as well?
Yep. I actually had quite a big weekend, biggest weekend I've had in ages. But yeah, it was good. Yeah, I'm just having more fun now, and yeah, I feel a lot more like myself, and I don't have to, like, I'm still careful to keep balance in my life, and I still, do a lot of the things that I learned in the program, but I don't have to, like, worry about it anymore, and I don't have to hold back, like, as much as I did before.
Which is just unbelievable, and I think that's everyone's goal. Through this journey is to get to the point where you don't have to worry about things. And of course, as you know, that health is a forever thing, and that's what you're going to be teaching with your clients and so forth, is that health is a forever thing, so we need to continue to do the right things to feel good. And when we're not doing it, or when we're off track a little bit, that's just a cue to get back on track anyway.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see what you do. It's amazing. Now we've spoken about what you've done and what you've achieved. But for the people out there listening who, were like you a year ago, who, had only stumbled across me via YouTube or the program via the website or Google, and they're wondering, should I do the program or shouldn't I not, and they're toying with that idea, what would you say to them?
Well, I think it's definitely worth doing. Anyone who's going through chronic fatigue, I think the program just has everything that you need, and I think for me, because I did have so much knowledge, and I also had the brain fog, and there's a lot of conflicting information out there, it's just so helpful to have someone just tell you, this is what you need to do, and this is all you have to do. Don't do any more than this. And just to have that clarity, and to just be able to put all the confusion aside and just have someone guide you through it. Yeah, I would recommend it to anyone, and I already have recommended it to other people, because there's really, to my knowledge, there's nothing else like it out there. Yeah, and it does work.
You're not wrong. This is what was needed when I was sick. So my job is to make it easier for you, which it has been, and everyone else, like, an exit path away from this. Whereas the long road by yourself is so lonely, and it's not much fun. I mean, I wish I could have had this conversation with you 10 years ago, when I was going through it. But it is. It's pretty special, and it's just amazing, just all the people who are in it. There's just hundreds and hundreds of people in the program from like over 24 countries now, and just to see all those different people come out just like you are just blossoming. It's just unbelievable.
And it's really exciting, because for some weird reason it's still this disease that, like, a lot of doctors don't even believe in, or people don't think it's a real thing, and it's so sad, and it's baffling to me. Like, I don't understand why that's the case, but I mean, that is why it's so important to have people like you doing that work, and having that support group and everything, having other people validate that what you're going through is real, and it is really hard.
Yeah, you're right. Now, 2 more questions. This one's an interesting one. I hope it's nice. If you could never speak to me again or have contact with me, what would you say? What would the message be to me in the program?
Okay. If I could never speak to you again.
Yeah. So say if I disappear off Facebook, I stop doing YouTube videos, what would you say? What would you like to say?
Well, I would think that would be quite sad, but as long as your program was still there for other people, that would be great. I don't know, I just think, like, I'm so grateful to you for everything, because if you weren't there, and if I hadn't stumbled across you, like, I wouldn't have my life back, I wouldn't feel like myself. And there's a lot of people out there who are just so hopeless, because people don't give you hope. Like, doctors will tell you there's nothing they can do. A lot of, like, honestly, most of the information out there tells you that you can't get better, and that you just have to accept it. And so to have someone like yourself and your other staff and your amazing centre helping people so specifically with chronic fatigue, it's just amazing. Like, I think I said in that Christmas card that you're like angels, because you're just bringing so much to the people that really need your help. It's just invaluable, and there's nothing else like it.
Well, thank you for that. That's really nice. Now, touching on from that, obviously, there's a lot of people out there who just have no hope whatsoever, and they just wonder why this is happening to them. But being on the other side now, what's one thing that chronic fatigue syndrome has taught you? This whole journey, what has it given you?
I think one big thing that it has taught me is the value of balance. And I mean, I definitely am a type A personality. I think most people with chronic fatigue are the type of people that work really hard and push themselves through challenges and don't quit. And and so that's sort of what happened to me. I just worked really hard. I pushed through a lot of stress. And then when I got really sick, I had to basically stop doing everything, and it was completely the other extreme. And like with the exercise and stuff, because I was pushing and crashing so much, I just got to the point where I just gave up on everything. And then it was quite a journey to actually pull myself out of that. So I think now it's like about learning how to be somewhere in the middle and have a more balanced life in between. And also just gratitude. Like, I thought that I practiced gratitude before I got sick, but I never thought about being grateful for how well my brain worked, or for the fact that I could exercise and all of those things. So, I mean, having chronic fatigue is awful, but when you come out the other side and you feel better, it's so exciting. Like, you just take everything, like, you just have appreciation for everything, just even the fact that you've woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning without an alarm clock. Like, it's awesome. So definitely it has given me a lot, but I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Of course.
It's definitely a very hard experience to go through, but I think if you can come through the other side, which you will if you do this program, you'll be a lot stronger and smarter for it. You know yourself a lot better, I think.
I agree. Yeah, it's certainly it certainly goes on every single level of life with this thing, because it not only affects your health, but it affects your relationships, your friendships, your relationship with yourself. What's important to you, what's not important to you. So like I said before, it's not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. It's a journey, and it does take time, but. Hey, here we are. There's two people who have overcome chronic fatigue syndrome. I think that's pretty powerful in itself.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your time today. I know that this will seriously inspire everyone who's sitting on their bottom right now watching this video, because any hope or proof is what's important, and experience is a lot more than. Knowledge, and you've got experience now, and you're going to pass that experience into knowledge. So really excited to see what you're going to do over the next few years, because I reckon you're going to help a lot of people, and I'm looking forward to watching you blossom.
Yeah, so thank you so much for everything. I can't even express my gratitude for everything.
You can fly across the country and give me a hug one day.
I'm sure I will do that, yes.
Thanks for chatting, Amy. I appreciate it.
Okay, no worries.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.